So I have been eyeing these Bundt Pan pumpkin crafts on Pinterest for a couple of years now, and I finally came across a copper pan in the thrift store that I couldn't pass up, but I also knew that there was no way that I could paint this Bundt Pan with this beautiful copper finish. So I decided to come up with a damage-free topper that would keep the pan intact and useful. So, like I said, I knew people would come with pitchforks in the comment section if I painted this beautiful copper cake pan. And so instead, I just made a topper. So I started with a piece of scrap cardboard and I just cut out a circle. I just traced a Gatorade bottle cap and used my heavy duty craft scissors, which are great for cutting cardboard, made a little circle. And that's the base of my topper that's going to go right on my cake pan. And then I used some kind of like a sage green ribbon. This was like a linen type ribbon. It's actually, full disclosure, it's not even real ribbon. It's left over from like a duvet cover that I bought, and this was like what it was wrapped in. I was like, that's too pretty to throw away. So I kept it. And so I just cut two lengths and I dovetailed both ends with really sharp fabric scissors. Dovetails are super easy to cut. You just fold the ribbon in half and then cut at a 45-degree angle. And because my ribbon was so thick it didn't quite lay right, I just grabbed my little mini heat press. I spritzed it a few times with a tiny bit of water, and I just pressed that ribbon. And that way it laid nice and smooth on top of my Bundt pan. So the two sections each got folded into a V shape, and that completely covered the cardboard circle. Add a little hot glue in the ribbon to maintain the V shape, and then also hot glue the ribbon to the cardboard, and then repeat that process on the other side. And then you're in business and you can continue to decorate your topper. So I just kept going. I have this like floral wire. It's like a very thin jute rope. It's from Michael's, but you could just use a thin jute rope as well. And I decided it already had a little bit of gold metallic in it, but I really wanted to amp that up a bit. So what I did is I just took some gold floral wire and I cut 5 pieces of it. Now in this section of the video, this looks a lot shorter than in real life. I made one and I realized this was way too short, isn't going to work. So I ended up redoing it. So cut yours longer than what I did in my video. But I just took the 5 pieces of wire and I twisted it around that cord. And that way, one, it kind of bulked it up a little bit because I wanted it a little bit thicker. And 2, it gave me a lot more control over bending this cord so I could turn it into a coil to make a pumpkin stem. So I just started by wrapping this cord around my finger. You know, you want to follow a traditional pumpkin stem shape. So what you're going to do is make it wider at the base and narrower as you continue to reach the top of the stem. And then once you have the coil as large or small as you want, you can then cut off the end and then just hot glue the base of that coil right in place on top of that green ribbon. And then I just finished everything off with a scrappy bow. I cut these ribbons a little bit longer than I probably should have because I wasn't sure about the scale of what size bow I wanted with that stem. But this is very easy to make. You just lay 3 pieces of wide ribbon and 3 pieces of skinny ribbon. Any type will do. This is just a 1.5-inch burlap type ribbon as well as some lace ribbon. I actually got this lace stuff from Dollar Tree, but use whatever you want, variety of textures, colors, whatever makes you happy. You lay the 6 pieces of ribbon together, pinch them in the center, and then you could use another piece of ribbon to hold it in the center. For this, I did something different and I took a piece of twine and I wrapped it around the center of the bow probably 15 or 20 times so that it was thicker like a piece of ribbon, but it was just twine. And then you just secure it in the back with a very simple double knot. Too easy. And then you flip it over and you want to fluff out the ribbon pieces and trim the ends to whatever length that you want. And so this is like, it's easier to start with longer pieces of ribbon that you then trim down a size. I know it's a bit wasteful, but that way you can get the exact size and scale of ribbon for your project that works. And then I just hot glued my bow in place right at the base of that pumpkin stem. And then to finish off the topper, it was a little bare still, so I just used some faux boxwood greenery for my craft stash. I just a tiny few little sprigs, cut them and hot glued them right in place. And like I said, this is damage free, so here's my little hack. I use this poster mounting putty. I used to call it sticky tack when I was a kid, like teachers use it to hang posters in their classrooms or college students in dorm rooms. Just put a little bit of that on top of the cake pan and then set your topper in place. That way, for the fall season, you have a cute little pumpkin piece of decor, but then for the rest of the year, you can still use your cake pan for baking treats and wonderful things like that. So there you have it, my little thrift store cake pan pumpkin craft. I do hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Until next time, happy making.